Hello everyone, my name is B. I'm going to be doing a new type of video. Today is Wednesday, the 22nd of April 2026, and I'll be going over the important fixtures that happened today. Um, First off, we got the Premier League, AFC Bournemouth versus Leeds United in the Bournemouth Stadium. Draws 2-2 after full time. It's a very dramatic ending. Kind of starts as a closed off game, but then leads to open ended game. One of the only games that I watched today. I chose to watch it over at Manchester City Burnley because Manchester City should have won that by a landslide. Unfortunately, they only win by 1-0 to Burnley. Burnley looks like they're going down. Man City are at the top of the league. What a time to be alive. Arsenal are bottling it once again. Moving on to La Liga, we have Elche versus Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid shoot themselves in the foot really quick right off with a red card, and Elche take advantage of that, especially with the weakened squad, mostly Diego Simeone benching all of his good players, preparing for the real fight to come next week. But Elche take it 3-2 in their stadium. Real Sociedad versus Getafe. I expect to be more goals scored here just because Real Sociedad does win the Copa del Rey, but Getafe takes advantage of a dormant Real Sociedad and scores 1-0 to make it away win. Barcelona versus Celta Vigo. Barcelona win at the Camp Nou versus Celta Vigo. Nothing much more to say there. Um, Moving on to the German Cup, we have Bayern Leverkusen at home against Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich win by 2 to advance into the German Cup. Moving on to the Moving on to Copa Italia, we have Atalanta versus Lazio. They already tied on the previous leg, but taking it to Atalanta's home, they are tied after full time. Lazio advanced 2-1 on penalties. The scoreline was 1-1. Good job to Lazio. They go into, I believe, the final. French Ligue 1, Paris Saint-Germain beats 3-0 Nantes at home. Of course they do. What do you expect? Kvaratskhelia scores some great goals. English League Championship, we have Birmingham City versus Preston North End at the Birmingham City uh, Stadium. And it is a 2-1 nil after full time. Charlton Athletic is the next game versus Ipswich Town, and Charlton Athletic actually scores first, but Ipswich Town takes a 2-1 after full time away from home. Middlesbrough is the next game versus Sheffield Wednesday. At home, Middlesbrough wins 1-0 at full time. Sheffield United versus Blackburn Rovers. I believe Sheffield United scores first, but Blackburn Rovers really has it in them. 3-1 on full time whistle, Blackburn Rovers with an away win. Next, we got the Dutch Eredivisie. Telstar wins 4-1 over Sparta Rotterdam at the Telstar Stadium full time if you want to need some Dutch football. Copa de France, Strasbourg versus OGC Nice. Strasbourg actually surprises me because they're in, what is it, the Europa League or the Conference League? I'm not sure which one. But they advance there. Unfortunately, they do not advance to the Copa de France. OGC Nice beats them 2-0. Moving on to the Taça de Portugal, which is the Portuguese domestic cup. FC Porto versus Sporting CP. Sporting CP win on the previous leg 1-0, and this leg is 0-0 at the Porto Stadium. So Sporting CP goes through to the final. Next, we got the Russian Premier League. We have Gazovik Orenburg versus Nizhny Novgorod. I don't know if I said that right. I'm sorry, I'm not Russian. 2-1 to the home side. Dynamo Moscow versus Rubin Kazan. Rubin Kazan comes out. The away team wins 1-0. Lokomotiv Moscow versus Zenit St. Petersburg 0-0 at the full-time whistle. Next, we have the Belgian Pro League. Club Bruges versus KV Mechelen. I hope I said that right. But I believe the away side score first, making it 1-0 to Club Bruges, but they have it in them. They have that dog in them. They come back 6-1 for a full time home win. Union St. Gilloisy versus KAA Gent is 0-0 after full time. For a draw, the Austrian Bundesliga, Rapid Vienna versus TSV Hartberg with the away win 2-0 points to TSV Hartberg. RB Salzburg versus Austria Vienna with the RB Salzburg at the home win 3-1. They have the wheel. SK Storm Graz versus Leisk Linz 1-1 after the full time whistle. In the Greek Super League, we have Panathinaikos FC versus Altrimitos. I fucking definitely butchered that. I'm so sorry, Greek. But the away team wins 4-0. Larissa FC versus Kifsia 1-1 after the full time whistle. Asteras Tripoli versus Pantalikos 2-1 for the home side after full time. Moving on to League One in the English League, my favorite, Cardiff City versus Port Vale. Port Vale disappoint me every time. Cardiff City take it away at home 1-0. I'm sorry. I just keep an eye on Port Vale and they don't do nothing. And to be honest, that's probably more than I needed to do for Europe. I know my pronunciation sucks. I'm sorry. They try to teach me two languages at the same time when I was a kid, but whatever. Now we go on to the other side of the world. I'm not going to talk about the MLS. I don't know nothing about it. But I'm going to go to the Mexican Liga MX. We have Atlas versus Tigres. 0-0. Atlas fails to qualify. I guess they have another chance in the next game. But next game is Atletico de San Luis versus Santos. Santos are in a very stinker of a season, so San Luis go and win it at home 2-0. Mazatlan FC versus Toluca. Wow, what a game. Game of the tournament. I recommend you go see the highlights. This is why we love Liga MX. Mazatlan is facing termination. They are leaving the Liga MX after the end of the season, but that doesn't stop them from wanting to go out with a bang, and bang they did, because Toluca is one of the best teams, bicampeones in the last season, and they decided to show them up 4-3 after the full-time whistle. Mazatlan win at home. Tijuana versus Pachuca. This was predicted to be a very good game because they're both fighting for the Liga, but Tijuana wins 3-1 to Pachuca. Not much there. Necaxa versus Guadalajara, disappointing, very much so, because Guadalajara had been on their game and they just failed to go through. I know they're resting some starters, but I expect them to at least score two. And a 0-0 full-time whistle for Necaxa at home. What else do we got to go over? Um, do I go over Liga de Expansión? We have the Mineros de Zacatecas versus Atletico Morelia. 3-0 for the Zacatecas home team in the first leg, so they will be going to the Morelia side and trying it there for the Liga de Expansión, I guess the tournament they have at the end. Club Jaiba Brava, I don't know what that is, and then versus La Paz. 2-0 for the home side in the first leg. Very home-sided tournament. Who knows what will happen in the next legs? Drop your comments if you want to keep up with that. I'm more than willing to cover them. I know we have some other teams. Do I go over the Argentinian? I'm going to go over the Brazilian league. Or we got the Copa do Brasil, Bahia versus Remo. 1-3, the away side win. Remo full time at the first leg. Gaus versus Cruzeiro. 2-2 full time in the first leg. Santos versus Cordoba, or Cortiba. 0-0 full time whistle first leg. Athletic versus Internacional. 1-2 Internacional take it away in the first leg. Fortaleza versus CRB. Fortaleza win at home 2-1 in the first leg. Flamengo versus Vitoria 2-1 to Flamengo in the first leg. And Red Bull Bragantino versus Mirassol 1-1 full time anyways. I think that's it. I don't really follow the Peruvian league or the Argentinian league or the Ecuadorian. Let me know if I should be following these, or at least covering them in these videos. I don't want to make this video more than 10 minutes, but I'm probably going to be doing this more often. If you stayed throughout the whole video, I really appreciate it. I'm going to be covering them all, just because I want to continue making videos any way I can, especially if I get to talk about teams I like and some games I did watch, some games I didn't watch, because obviously you can't watch all the games, but not only that, I got to work, and I figured what better way to do this. I want to cover the sports. I work late every time I get off of work, and all the results are in. I get to talk about them. Let me know what you think is going to happen tomorrow in the next coming days. Who you think is going to advance? What leagues you want to see more of? What leagues you want to keep your eyes on? And what games you're excited for? My name is B. I love talking about sports, and I also want to hear what other people got to say about them. That's why I make these videos. Leave a comment, share something with me, and hopefully if you give me some recommendations that come out good and I'll enjoy the football. But yeah, that's it for me. Adios. Stay fresh.